This is the Heavy Hitter Club channel.
Internal schema name is the internal database name that you give the schema. It does not show up in your generated schema, so it can be whatever you want, something that's easy for you to remember to help you understand which this is. So example for this one, if this is the local business and this is, let's say, the top level organization, I might call this top level organization, and then whatever the brand is, let's say it's, ESPN or something like that. The ID schema node reference. This is what is used to reference the schemas together. Best, I guess, best practice for this is to use the URL of the page that you're writing the schema for. So to stick with the brand I'm talking about here, ESPN, I would make this the URL. So https:// espn.com. You can name it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be that, but I like to use the URL just to stay consistent. Now, if you're going to have, let's say you have the local business and you have more than one type of schema on a page, they can't always have the same thing. So another good practice you can get into is to put the URL, and then, for example, this one could be #org. So if later you need to use espn.com on for a review or something like that, you can then add a #org here, and then the other place #review or #service, whatever you need, if you have the same URL that's used for multiple schema types. For type, this is a drop down where you pick what type of schema type you're working on. If it's a local business, organization, there's a bunch that are in here from schema.org, airline, corporation, college, elementary, high school. You've got your, different services, dentists, emergency, geriatric, let's see, recycling center, real estate agent. So just all of them are there. The good thing here is when you do the drop down, you can search. So let's say I had, well, this would be sports organization. So you can start typing and it filters. So we're going to do sports organization for our example here with ESPN. Okay, business name is just exactly what that is a text input field. So it's going to be the name of your business. ESPN for this example. If you were ESPN LLC or whatever, you can put your official business name here. Okay, you have the drop down here to pick and get into the optionals. For optionals, you have URL. So this is just the URL of your website. So for our example, espn.com. This is just the when you're in local business, this is the main URL of the business. Okay, for description, and again, you don't have to put that in there, but to add description, this is just a description of your business. ESPN is a flagship sports agency, something like that. So it's just a description of your business. Address, if your business does have an address, then you can add an address. Again, you can leave it blank. To add an address, you just hit the plus sign here for create an item, and it'll pull up a postal address creation. So you're gonna put the street address. So let's just say this is 123 Street. The city is ESPN City. State, let's just say it's in New York. So New York. Postal code 12345, and then the country is the USA. Obviously, you're going to put in real the accurate information, but that's how you create the postal code. Then you just hit the check sign, and now you can see that it's been added to your thing. Okay, for SameAs, you're going to put in any places on the web that is the same as your business. For example, like your Twitter account, .com/ESPN, let's just say. And to put those in, you put in the value and press enter, and it adds it to the list. And let's say we got facebook.com/ESPN. Enter that one. You can also have, whatever you have. So Instagram.com/ESPN and what others you may have. But that's how you put the same as, which is to be the additional places on the web that is the same as your business. Okay, knows about is to list things that your business, knows topics about. So for ESPN, it could be sports, it can be football. Let's just say, basketball. Just and do the same thing. You put it in and you press enter to put it down here. Other things, this can also be like URLs. So let's just say you want to put in there wikipedia.com and it's the basketball, right? Obviously you put the real URL, but you can put that in there as well. So it can be URLs of things that you know about or keywords that your business knows about. Logo URL is going to be the logo to, or the URL to your logo. So espn.com/logo URL. Telephone is going to be the listing of your telephone number if you have one. So HasMap is where you'll put in the Google Maps URL to your business, or you could put in any map URL. It doesn't have to be Google, but typically this is where you put your GBP URL. So let's just say for google.com/maps/ESPN. But you would grab your URL for your map and place it in the HasMap field. Okay, for brand, you're going to hit here the drop down. And in this brand schema use, you can either use text. So this is just, you're going to put a text input. So if you just want to put the name of a brand in here, you could. Or if you want to reference a schema, you can use schema here. And you go down here and you hit the plus sign. Or sorry, plus is to create a new one. But since we already have schemas in there, you're going to select it. And you're going to pick one of the other brands from your organization or local businesses. For this one, I'm going to use, and you can see here, we're internal schema name. I've got the top level organization. That's going to be the brand. So I'm going to pick that and hit select. And now you can see that the brand schema has been pulled in. Okay, for area served, this is the area that your business serves. Typically used more for local businesses. To do this, you go to drop down, area served. If you don't already have some created, as you can see I don't have any created yet. You're going to hit this plus sign. And now I'm going to say this is going to be organization area. Let's do it this way. ESPN org area served. This is just for me referencing it, because if you have multiple, this way you'll be able to tell what it is whenever you have to reference it, because this is for the organization area served, and you may have different area served if you have different local businesses. So here I'm going to put the postal codes. So what I want to do is I don't have any created yet, so I'm going to select the postcodes and I'm going to add them one by one. So let's say we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can just put in all the different zip codes that this area served contains, and you select those there. And then for city served, what you're going to do is now you're going to put in the cities and the URLs that relate to the cities to now link this to like other related places on the web to really validate what you're telling Google with your schema. So for example, create new. Let's say we're going to do Chicago, right? So what I would want to do is do maps.google.com. I'm going to go to Chicago, Illinois here, find that. Once the URL up here renders, I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put that as the URL to Chicago. And then I also want to do Chicago Wikipedia. Okay, these are the ones I typically use. So I'm going to open the Wikipedia page for Chicago. I'm going to put the Wikipedia link in there. Okay. So now what I'm saying is I serve these zip codes in this city. You can add more cities as well. So let's say I want to add another city. Let's say now I'm going to do New York. So here I would go to New York City. I'm going to grab the URL of the maps up here and place that in for the URL for that city. And I'm going to go to Wikipedia and I'm going to say New York City. And here's the URL for New York City. So now I've created the area served with the zip codes and the cities that go with that. And you just save it. And now you can see I have my ESPN org area served. Okay, for rating, this is where you would put a rating for your local business. So I'm going to say create a new rating. I'm going to say it's a rating value. It's on the scale 1 to 5, and I've got 15 reviews, and my rating value is a 5. So that's how you create the rating. Okay, now for your organization or your local business for employee, you can select employee. You're going to do the drop down. You can select to use text. If you use text, then you can add Steve, Carl. You can start just putting people's names in there, and it'll just put their name. Once you put one of these to get rid of these, you can just click on them. But if you want to then create person schema and then put those as the employee, so now you can say use schema. And now you're going to add an existing because I already have a person created in Steve Smith. Um, you could create new from here, but I always like to, create them individually and then add existing. But here's add existing, Steve Smith. So now I've added this person schema as an employee, so it'll all be pulled in when we pull the organization in. Okay, this is for funder. You're going to either select either text, where you can just input, like a funder's name or a company's name that helped to fund the organization, or you can use a schema and reference in an organization or a person. For funder, you can have either a person or an organization. To select an existing, hit the drop down here. You can pick person, and you could select the person, right? Or you can do local business and select the funder for the local business. So we'll say that's the funder for the local business. Okay, founder. You're going to drop down, and here you can select again either text, or you can type in the name of a founder, or you can use schema and add existing and founder as a person. So then you can select who's the founder of the company and add them to your schema. Okay, for review, you hit the drop down and you can either select to use a text box where you can just type in some review content, or use schema, and then you can have created review schema and you can add or create there, but add one. And I add one already to show, but then you just select that. And now you've added the review schema to your organization. Okay, for sponsor, you're going to select which type of sponsor. So in the drop down, are you going to use a sponsor name? So this is where you just add names of people that are sponsoring you. So if you just say Steve, Bill, whatever. Or what you can do is you can use schema and then you add existing, and a sponsor can either be a person or a local business. So let's say that Steve Smith is our sponsor, and let's also say that ESPN is our sponsor. So you can add both as the sponsors of your company. Okay, for sub-organization or parent organization, so you're going to do your drop down. And since right now I'm at the top level, so this is my parent organization or the top organization. So my other businesses or local businesses are going to be sub organizations, which are like the child organization. So I'm going to add an existing. I'm going to add the Chicago as the sub-organization of the main organization. So that's how you'd add that. If you needed to add a parent organization, right? So let's say I didn't want, if this was the sub-organization and I want to add now the upper level parent organization, you would put it here. So if this was a child, like a local business, and it has a higher level organization that's over all local businesses, you would select the parent organization since you're in the child, and then you would select the top level organization like this, right? But since in this example, I'm in the top level, so I'm at the parent level, I'm going to select the sub-organization of Chicago as the sub-organization of this upper level organization. So that's, you got to think about this as a higher, kind of like a hierarchy, like a parent-child relationship. The parent is the highest level of your organization, and then all the sub-organizations or child organizations would be like your local businesses under that main business. For example, Home Depot would be the parent organization, the overall Home Depot, but every location at a Home Depot store would be the child or the sub-organizations, is how you can think about that. Something to keep note for these two, as you'll learn, these do not auto connect because there's so many different options where it could be sub or parent or sub. So by me selecting this as the sub organization, it doesn't automatically select in the Chicago the opposite for parent. So you do have to update sub organization and parent organization individually in all the different organizations. Okay, now for services, what you'll do is you're going to be in here and you can create one, or you're going to add existing. I've already created my services. So I'm going to add, and we're just going to select the football as the service. So now you're going to add in the service schema to your organization. Okay, slogan is if you have a slogan for your business. So ESPN, the flagship sports network. So you just input, if you do have a slogan, you can put your slogan in here for your business. This is legal name, so a lot of times businesses may not go by the full legal name in their legal documents. So for example, like if this one, ESPN, may be ESPN, you know, Incorporated, might be the full legal name, but they go by ESPN. Disambiguating description is just a place to put a longer description of the company. So like ESPN is a flagship sports business. They cover football, baseball, basketball, and on and on. So you could write several lines in here of just something that disambiguates your company from anyone else. So it's basically a place to put a longer worded subscription that gives more details about your company. Price range is for the price range that your company charges. The example that gives in schema.org is to use just the $sign. So anywhere from 1 to 4 of them, 4 being the most expensive, 1 being the cheapest, is how it says to put the price range. Payment accepted is a list of the payments that you accept. So like cash, credit, Visa, gift card, MasterCard, just all the different ways that you accept payment you can list out here. Emails where you put your email in. So for example, info@espn.com. Awards is where you can put a list of different awards that your company has won. So let's just pretend like for them, for ESPN it was football coverage award, and then let's say they won one for basketball coverage. So you can list out any awards that your company has received. Okay, for members, this is where you can add like names of members of your company or business. So there's again just text inputs. And you can just add basically a list of any members or things that are members of your company. And again, to get rid of, if you say you misspell one, you just click on it and it'll get rid of it. Number of employees is the number of employees that the company has. So let's say, for example, for ESPN, they got, I don't know, 500 employees. You just put the number of employees that your company has. For owns, this is where you can put in other things that is owned by the business or their corporation. So let's say ESPN, let's say they own, the ESPN app. Oh, misspelled it. ESPN app. Let's say they own streaming service or whatever, just a name of something. So this where you can just put in there, this business owns these things.
This is the Heavy Hitter Club channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell.